continues next week. I can't believe what we have witnessed. And the rebound inside. Elkins has got it, and he throws it away. McKinley's got another run out. Down the lane, elevates and slams with two hands. And the Buffs are on top by 9. And it's over in Boulder, back to back. The Buffs down number 4 on Thursday. And this afternoon, they take care of number 14, Arizona. Your final at the Coors Event Center, 80-77. And the Buffs are making noise in the Pac-12.
All right, fellas! Guys, this is what it's about, okay? We've been through some tough times here before this weekend. We bounced back, we got heart, the freshmen are growing up, we bowed our backs, they made their run, we withstood it. I'm so proud of you, okay? We did this together, okay? I'm happy and I'm proud of everyone. Great job. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family!
That's some great footage right there after the Buffs took care of number 14 Arizona, completing a sweep of number 4, number 14 after the game in the locker room. The players surprising at that time the birthday boy, Chad Boyle, head coach of the Buffaloes, on voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. It was a good week for Colorado last weekend, don't you think?
We'll take it.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll take more like it. That's for sure. No, it was a great week. Great week.
Talk about the little ambush we saw there in the locker room.
Well, listen, players, they know they can get away with some things after wins like that, so they took it upon themselves to douse me with some water. It actually felt good, but no, it was great. Those are the moments you remember as a coach, and certainly your players. You want them to enjoy themselves. It's funny. Coming back after the Oregon trip, Mark, a couple guys said, Coach, I'm not having too much fun. Well, guess what? When you lose, it's not much fun, but when you win, it is, and you have moments like that. So the key is for our guys to understand what's the difference in terms of our play and all the things that we need to do to get to that point.
I was going to say, Ted, you have talked about this kind of thing, the psychological aspect of sports and coaching. You go back to the game, losing at Oregon State, walking off the court, a low point maybe this season for the Buffaloes. And then yet 7-8 days later, I mean, there's that celebration in the locker room. Can you figure that out?
Yeah, I wish I could. It's sports. I mean, and especially sports with a young team and a team that's still trying to figure itself out. And we're not the only team that's going through that. A lot of teams in our league are. So, no, it's the highs are high and the lows are low. And the one thing I've learned, through the years, Mark, is that kids, when I say kids, young men are much more resilient sometimes than even we are as adults. And I get reminded of that time and time again. And I think this last week is a great lesson when it comes to that, because our players, when it came back from Oregon, they were down, they were disappointed, but you know what, they bounced back, and we practiced well, and we came out and played well.
I think what impressed me about the 2 victories Thursday night over number 4 Arizona State and number 14 Arizona on Saturday is the fact that they were entirely opposite kind of games. Very guard oriented with the Sun Devils. You had to deal with the big fellas and maybe the 2 best tandem of big guys in the country.
Absolutely, and we talked about the quick turnaround too, going from Thursday night to Saturday at noon. The Paradise Jam in Lynchburg really helped us with the quick turnarounds, the 3 games in 3 nights and 3 different game plans in 3 days. Our guys did a great job of turning from ASU, like you said, a guard-oriented team, relying on the three-pointer, transition-oriented, to Arizona, 2 7-footers, jamming inside, ball screens. We had 2 totally different teams, game plans, and but fortunately for us, the result was the same, and it's a win for the Buffs.
A lot of guys we can talk about that were good in both those ball games, and I think you said to me after the ball game on Saturday, you don't feel better for anybody more than Dominic Collier.
Absolutely. Athletics and sports teaches us how to deal with adversity, and Dom has gone through some adversity this year and last even, but he was really struggling shooting the ball and wasn't having the kind of senior year he wanted to have, but he just kept banging and banging, and he had a breakthrough weekend, and hopefully we get that Dom Collier back for the rest of the season. Really proud of him for fighting through that adversity that he was facing.
DeAndre Ayton might be one of the more impressive college basketball players I've ever seen physically. Very good player. Dallas Walton was outstanding in that ball game, battling not only he but Dusan Ristic as well.
Absolutely, 7 for 7 from the field. I mean, some big time plays. Jump hook on the baseline, really nice post move over Ayton, made a 3. I mean, Dallas played a terrific game. game and keeps getting better and better. He's growing up before our eyes.
I was going to say he seems like the learning curve is picking up speed with him a little bit.
Absolutely,
and you need that.
Yeah, we do need that because he, with Torrey's injury, obviously, he was thrown in the fire, literally. I mean, he's just thrown in there, and he's got to swim or sink, and he's swimming.
Well, certainly two great victories for the Colorado Buffaloes. First time since 2011 they knocked off top 15 teams back-to-back. Now, you don't want to let that get away from you. Now you got to take advantage of it, going to play two very tough games with USC and UCLA.
Absolutely. No, it's, look, it's conference play, and you move from one game to the next and one weekend to the next. And it's time for us to do something on the road. We're 0-4 in true road games right now, and we've got to correct that because in order to finish in the top half of this league and compete for a championship, which is what we want to do, you have to win some games on the road. You got to hold serve at home. We did that this weekend. Now we got to go on the road and make some noise. And it's interesting. Utah goes and sweeps Oregon, and then they lose 2 at home. And it's crazy how this business works.
You saw number 1 go down over the weekend. A bunch of ranked teams. It's kind of the way college basketball is right now.
Yep. That's what it's all about. It's a lot of fun right now.
All right, Buffs will try and continue the momentum of a couple of nice wins over number 4 Arizona State, number 14 Arizona this past weekend on the road against USC and UCLA this upcoming weekend. Coming up next, we're going to talk with the aforementioned Dominic Collier. Buffaloes with 2 big victories, and the senior was a big part of it.
Great victory. Great victory. Guys, it is fun. And I told you, when we play the way we're capable of playing, we can beat anybody in our league. So, anybody, okay? And certainly in this building, you guys saw how fun it is to play in this building, okay, when it gets rocking. And we got to make it rocking by the way we play, by the way we produce on the floor, okay? Because if we do that, it'll be like that every night, okay? And that's fun. That is fun. You guys deserve this. Every time you put that uniform on, you represent so much. And I know you take personal pride in the way you play, and I get that. But just understand what you represent. You represent this whole state. You represent everybody that ever went to school at Colorado. And most importantly, you represent every player who's put that uniform on before you. And we've had some pretty darn good ones, certainly in the recent past, but even back to Chauncey and those guys, okay? Cliff Mealy. Had some special players that love Colorado, and you got to play for that name on the front of your jersey. I know some of you guys didn't grow up in this state. That's okay. Okay? This will always be your school. It'll always be your program. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.
That's head coach Tad Boyle following the Buffaloes' Thursday win over number 4 Arizona State. Buffs followed it up with a win over number 14 Arizona. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Dominic Collier, senior for the Buffaloes, outstanding over the two ball games. That one over Arizona, though, was nice. You guys kind of dumped, what was that, Gatorade over his head there in the postgame for his birthday?
Oh, yeah, Gatorade and water. Oh, yeah. we were planning that as soon as the game ended.
Yeah, did he get mad or not?
No.
No. How do you guys go from opening up Pac-12 play, the loss at Gill Coliseum up in Corvallis, and as low as this team was at that point in time, and I was with you guys in the film session the next day, it wasn't pretty, to come back and knock off 2 top 15 teams here at the Event Center?
I think we just came out and just we just within ourselves had a team meeting, and then I think that really sparked us. I don't know, it just everyone just contributed, and then after that we just wanted to play for each other and just have fun. That's just the main thing, is have fun.
There's a lot of pressure on seniors in the college basketball team for you guys to lead. You got to set the tone. You've got to be leaders. You got to make sure everybody falls in line. And for you and George, neither of you guys are what we'd call overly, boisterous kind of guys. And you guys have had to kind of work at becoming leaders in this thing and bringing these guys together, haven't you?
Oh yeah, the young guys, they always talked about how they looked up to us as role models. So me and George took that personal, and so we had to open up our mouths a little more. But everyone's playing really well right now, and then we're really anxious to having these 2 ranked opponents coming to our place, and then we just wanted to just leave a good, just have momentum going into LA.
The Buffaloes knock off number 4 and number 14 over the course of these 2 ball games. So one on Thursday night against Arizona State, guard-oriented team. Turnovers had been an issue through the first couple of games of Pac-12 play. In fact, the Buffs had 18 and 20 turnovers against the Beavers and the Ducks, respectively. That was going to be a challenge against a very frenetic pace. Okay, the change in turnovers. You guys have taken care of the ball the last couple of ball games. That really helps, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, of course. You take the ball, you take care of the ball. You obviously have more possessions and more chances to score. So and then it keeps them out of transition, because both these teams are really good in transition. So that was our main emphasis, is just taking care of the ball, because when we do that, we're really good offensively, as you guys seen in the last 2 games.
Yeah, without question. And the extremes of playing a guard-oriented team against Arizona State
and then those two creatures they've got inside for Arizona, that really changes the game plan a little bit.
Oh, it really does. But we had the same defensive game plan coming in. It's a soft 33 back to two zone. So it really wasn't different as in terms of defensive schemes, but
in terms of emphasis, it would be a little bit.
The emphasis was different because instead of focusing more on the three-point line, we had to focus more on the big fellas in the middle. So, yeah, it was a different emphasis. And then I think all our guys bought into what the coaches said, and then our coaches did a really good job of preparing us for these two games.
DeAndre Ayton might be as impressive a physical player as I've ever seen, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, he's pretty big.
So what do you? How about the way Dallas played against him inside? Dallas was phenomenal. He was trending on Twitter during the game, for goodness sakes.
Oh, Dallas was he was unbelievable today, and he played really well, and I'm really proud of him. And then we kept challenging Dallas. We kept challenging Dallas this whole week, and then he responded, and he kept telling us that he got us. So he proved it. He proved it today.
There were huge shots in this ball game. Dom hit a couple down the stretch. He had one. He had to go over the top of him, and I think it actually hit the top of the backboard before it dropped in. But I'll tell you a shot in this ball game that might have saved it for Colorado was Deshaun Schwartz hitting one from the left wing there in the second half when things got a little dicey.
Oh yeah, Deshaun, he really stepped up and played really well. I'm really proud of Deshaun and Dallas because they really came in and they played within themselves, and they just hit the open shots and then just played really well. So I'm really proud. I'm just really proud of this team.
You know, you talked about the defensive game plan, dropping back into the 2-3 zone. When Ted, you know how Ted hates playing zone.
I do.
When he first mentioned it, did you think he was joking?
I really did. I really did. But anything that will win at this point, and then it's just about our players just buying into whatever the game plan is, and then we did that, and then hopefully, I don't know how long we're going to do two zone the rest of the year, but it's been helpful for us.
It certainly worked. Take us out on the court. What's it like when the crowd's storming the court after a ball game? Done it twice now, the last couple of ball games.
Oh, it's really fun just to see the excitement on our crowd's face, and then just to see for me, it's just all the little kids that run out there and just are so happy because I have little nephews and cousins, so it's just really I really like seeing just everyone just happy.
Hey, congratulations. 2 great wins. Keep it up now, and let's head to L.A. and see if we can get you guys a couple more wins, all right?
Yep, gotcha.
All right, Dominic Collier, he and the Buffaloes knock off 2 top 15 opponents over number 4 Arizona State, number 14 Arizona. Coming up next, the Hall of Famer Bill Walton's going to join us. I don't think I'll ask a question. Bill's just going to talk for 5 minutes. Comes right next here in the Stampede.
Sunrise on the Flatirons to a beautiful day inside here at the Foam Dome.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede. Colorado with a couple of top 15 wins, knocking off number 4 Arizona State and number 14 Arizona here at the Event Center. You know this guy, basketball.
I'm Bill, and I was there. I was there when I saw the Stampede. Oh, my gosh, Mark, I did not see this coming.
No?
I was at practice. I was here for the USD game earlier this year.
Right.
I said, oh, my gosh. I'm well aware of the Colorado State game and the Xavier debacle, and there's nothing I want more in my life than to see every game in the Conference of Champions be just like what we saw today.
What an awesome.
Incredible crowd, phenomenal atmosphere, and great play. And when we get to the point where every single game is like that, then the Conference of Champions it will reign supreme because the joy, the happiness, the exaltation, but the celebration of life, which sports is, and how perfect it was, and the most unlikely of scenarios come true today. Because Dallas Walton, who was a guy, there's not 2 people in the world that woke up today and said Dallas Walton's going to be the best player in this Arizona-Colorado game.
Right.
And to see him come out knowing his story, coming from so far down. And I have been there when you're in high school and you're lying in that hospital bed and they've just cut your leg open and you're saying, oh my gosh, how is it going to be? And the sadness, the loneliness, the isolation, the helplessness, hopelessness of it's not going to happen. And then all the work that goes into coming back. And it was just such a thrill. I mean, this guy, DeAndre Ayton, is incredible and spectacular. Arizona, they're like an NBA team. They're just a machine, and they're just so powerful, and they have everything. and then the buffaloes came out. It was like somebody just pushed an extra big handful of grass right into their mouth, and they were chomping it all down. And it was just a spectacular moment, and for the rest of my life, I will never forget this day today. And I'm just so proud. I'm so happy. And it happened on Tad Boyle's birthday. And how cool is that? And his son Peter playing right just down the street at Boulder High School in a big high school game, and just to see
warm and
it
fuzzy,
all come
Bill.
true. It was fantastic, Mark. It was fantastic, and then I just hope that it just continues, because that's the frustrating part for me, is that because I've been part of some of the greatest teams ever, UCLA, the Portland Trailblazers, Boston Celtics, Grateful Dead, and you did that ability to just do it day after day after day. And, that's where Arizona is, and that's where everybody else is trying to get.
Yeah.
And to see this today, and my real dream is, that Tad's able to capture this.
Right.
I'm just a huge believer in Tad
Do it
Boyle.
consistently.
And it's the other schools that they had, the advantages that an Arizona has, and to be able to come in and to see it once, but now that we've seen it, we want to see it every single game.
What is your take on the point guard for the Buffaloes, in McKinley Wright?
Yeah. Yes. I had never seen him play well. And so the challenge for McKinley is, little tiny guy in a game today dominated by guards. Every level. It's Trey Holder at the college level right now. In the NBA, it's Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving, John Wall, Damian Lillard. I mean, it's an endless list.
Sure.
And this little guy, I saw it today. I saw the change of pace, change of direction. I saw the mind. I saw his vision. I saw what he thinks in the game of basketball. And he's just a very young guy. And, to be able to come and to, and how his life changed. He looked like he was going to go to Dayton, and then the coaching changed, and then a wide open opportunity. And he comes here, and Tad's able to close that deal. And, look, I'm from California. I'm a big city guy. And, how many little tiny guys from Minneapolis have we ever seen come in and dictate the terms of the future? And, and say, I'm going to tell you how this is going to be. And that was McKinley Wright today. And, there's a lot of talent on that court today. Dallas Walton was the best player, and McKinley Wright was not too far behind.
Well, it's good stuff for the Buffaloes. Always good to see you, Bill.
Mark,
come back to Boulder
pleasure.
anytime.
I love Boulder. What I saw today, I wish every week was like this. Come right here to Boulder. Let's go. And please support your Buffaloes.
Love
Throw
it.
more grass out in front of them out there. Here we go.
He's the Hall of Famer Bill Walton joining us on the Stampede. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. Rick George, the athletic director, is going to join us next. Welcome back to the Buffalo Stampede. Certainly a great way to kick off 2018 with those two wonderful basketball victories over number 4 Arizona State and number 14 Arizona. Earlier we sat down with the athletic director, Rick George, here at the University of Colorado to get a State of the Union on the other 16 varsity sports here at CU.
Well, I think, the fall of 2017 was really successful for us for a lot of reasons. Not only did we compete at a high level athletically, but based on the early returns with the grades that I've seen, our student athletes have really done a great job in the classroom again, and we're really proud of their effort. Yeah, football didn't have a year that we had hoped they'd have. Our expectations are that we go to a bowl game every year. We fell a little short of that. Not concerning at all. I'm excited about where we're going. We had one of our great recruiting classes last year, and we followed it up with our early signing period with another great class. And when you build those classes together, I think it spells for a really bright future for our football program. I'm excited about what we're doing there, but we're going to build on that. We're getting right back after it this spring. Our expectation for our women's volleyball team wasn't to go to the Sweet 16 and have the kind of success they did. We were hoping that they would get in the NCAA tournament, but to beat Baylor on their home floor in the second round of the NCAA tournament was really an important step in the direction that we want to be, where we're consistently competing in the Sweet 16 and then in the Final Four and winning championships, and that's what our student athletes want to do. And from a soccer perspective, Danny Sanchez did another great job of leading that team and going to the second round and getting beat 1-0 on North Carolina's home field in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That could have easily gone our direction, but it didn't. But that's something that he can build on, and his teams continue to get better and better, and each year, and the way they defend and the number of non-scoring games that they had, that they held the opponent scoreless, was pretty amazing. And he continues to do a great job, and our student athletes continue to represent us in a first-class way. Well, Danny Jones was a great story all year. She really ran well, had an incredible year. What Mark and Heather and Billy Nelson have done with our cross-country program each year, their expectation is to win a national championship in both men and women's cross-country, and they're close to it every year. And it's very difficult when you're competing against 300 teams and the number of athletes that are out there and the way they train and compete. It's something to be proud of, and the other important aspect of that is their grades are typically one of the highest team grades with all of our sports teams. Look, for both men and women's basketball, I'm excited. You know, this year our expectation is that we continue to improve. I think in men's basketball we've got 8 new players that haven't played a minute on the court until this year. And so, I think as the season goes on, we'll continue to get better and better. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the freshman class that Tad brought in. And on the other side with women's basketball, JR, again, has a number of new players that hadn't played together, and they're starting to gel and got their first conference win a week ago, and they continue to get better. And I think both teams, we're going to have some great wins, and we're going to have some losses that maybe we should have won, but it's going to be exciting to watch both of those teams come together, and the future of both of those programs, I think, are in really good shape. Yeah, Annie Elliott has done a great job with that program, and to be able to, I think it's one of the great stories in college athletics is 4 years after you begin a program, you're ranked in the top 10 most of the year. They get invited to the NCAA tournament, finish second in the conference. That's just the tip of the iceberg, I think, for that program. I really believe that Coach Elliott and her team will have great success moving forward in our conference. This is the first year that we'll have a Pac-12 championship in women's lacrosse. We're hosting it. We're excited about that. It'd be really fitting if we could win that championship on our own field in April. Yeah, I mean, our ski team, 20 national championships. We expect to win a national championship every year in ski, and Rich Rokos and his staff have done a great job. We're hosting the NCAAs in Steamboat Spring in early March, and our expectation is that we'll win a national championship, and that's something that if Richie was here would say as well. But we also, our men's and women's golf programs are really doing great things. Ann Kelly had a great fall, and her team really doing great stuff. Roy Edwards, we have high expectations for both of those programs to get in the NCAA tournament, and our women's tennis program under Nicole Keneally's leadership continues to get better each year. So we're excited about what the spring will bring us. We're excited about what we did in the fall, but we know every year that we continue to raise the bar, and if we do that, we'll start bringing home more championships each and every year.